Welcome to Minding Your Business, the Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs Podcast, a program of Federation CJA. I'm Dan Laxer.
And for Catherine Korakakis, I'm Glenn J. Nashin, the host of the Federation CJA 360 Podcast.
And Glenn, I've been on the podcast and I know about it, but for those who might not, what is the 360 Podcast?
The 360 Podcast has been around for 3 years now. We've dropped over 50 episodes. We've had super interesting interviews with people from across the Montreal Jewish community and beyond. They could be community leaders, philanthropists, people who are the recipients of the services provided by Federation CJA and a host of agencies, and otherwise interesting people that are involved in one way or the other in the Jewish world. And I hope people will tune in. We're on all of the major podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else. So listen in and always welcome suggestions and feedback.
All right, awesome. Each episode of this podcast, we introduce you to the founder or founders of business startups, some who found their way through the PME program, plus words of wisdom from the program's various mentors. In this episode, we will introduce you to an entrepreneur who is a self-care expert, certified life and career coach, and best-selling author. That's all coming up. But Glenn, the Promies are also coming up in April.
Promies are very exciting in that it's been around for some 25 years since the formation of Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs. It was started by Jimmy Alexander and Stephen Bronfman. They'll be honored this year for the 25th year celebrations, and the chairs of this event are well-known Harley Finkelstein, Deborah Margulies, and Kenny Harris. And those events will culminate 25 years of supporting and encouraging and training and mentoring entrepreneurs in the Montreal Jewish community.
And you mentioned Stephen and Jimmy. They founded Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs, and they were the first guests on our first episode of this podcast. And just as a point of interest, our guest on this episode is nominated for the second time, and she actually won once before. So we'll see what happens this year.
Yeah, a great program, really interesting. It kind of spawned out of, in my earlier career when I was here at Federation as Director of Young Adult Division, Young Leadership, we started the Jewish Chamber of Commerce. And this entrepreneurial spirit was really born out of that. And lots of the young leaders who are still older leaders today created the Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs and the Promies from that. And it's really a great success story of the Montreal Jewish community.
All right. That's awesome. And again, that's coming up in April. Thank you, Glenn. I first met this episode's guest, it's 2 years ago now, when she was a guest with me and you, Glenn, on an episode of the 360 Podcast. She is, as we mentioned off the top, a self-care expert, best-selling author, certified life and career coach, and host of the Erica Diamond Podcast. For over 15 years, she's been helping leaders prevent burnout and create sustainable success through her signature Thrive360 System. Erica Diamond, welcome to Minding Your Business.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be back.
Erica, you are no stranger to entrepreneurship. You built your first company from the ground up. You achieved major financial success along the way, and you earned multiple Young Leadership and Young Entrepreneur Awards along the way as well. So let's start right back from the beginning. What was it like way back when?
Well, way back when, I bought my GMATs and didn't get into MBA school. So that gave birth to my entrepreneurial career probably earlier than I really truthfully wanted. So I was 24. I was living at home at the time. Don't laugh. I was working at Future Electronics, my first job out of McGill, and I had saved up $5,000. And I was an early adopter, always early adopter of social media, online space, and started this company, Unique Corporate Gifts, uniquecorpgifts.com. I sold premium and incentive items, promotional products to companies, pens, T-shirts, caps, mugs, balloons, 100,000 mugs, 10,000 T-shirts. And I built that company literally by knocking on people's doors. There was no social media. And as you said, yes, became nominated for my first Promies Award through Federation CJA at the time, won that award. So I started the company at 24. I think I won the award when I was 27. And then my company was acquired. I sold it at 31 to be a mom to two boys.
Wow. So you talked about, no social media, knocking on doors. What were some of the other challenges you faced at the time?
Oh, at the time, I was relentless. Honestly, I never saw challenges. I really try and look for solutions. So, challenges were really, it was a very competitive landscape. Mm-hmm. Everyone was doing promotional products. I didn't let that stop me. I had negotiated great pricing with my supplier, so my pricing was good. My customer service was great. I was really I've been using like CRMs my whole life, so I would never let it. If they said, oh no, we order our promotional products for our golf tournament in April. I had the alarm set for April. I was organized. I still am. So the challenge back then was probably just the competitive scope of my business, but I didn't let it stop me. And then after that, I've always been in competitive spaces, never let it stop me, always stay in my own lane, always have blinders on for what everyone else is doing. I just try and stay really directive as to what I'm doing and stay in my own lane. So
Erica, let's get heavy for a moment. Let's talk about burnout.
Yeah.
And the burnout that you experienced early on.
Yeah.
How did that shape the way you coach entrepreneurs in your current life?
Sure. So in that first company, it was my mom who noticed. She said, Erica, something's off with you. I was about 2 or 3 years into my company. I wasn't sleeping at night. I was agitated. I was restless. Everything pissed me off. Traffic. If someone was like not paying quick enough in the grocery store, my mind was racing. And Sandra was someone I had met at the gym. My non-negotiable to myself was always, I've been active my whole life. I was a ballet dancer, ballet teacher, met Sandra, and I said, Sandra, would you see me? I'm not feeling myself. No problem. And what I discovered in therapy with Sandra in this near burnout was, no one's telling you to, throw water on your flame or dull your shine. No one's telling you to stop doing this business, this company that you love. Instead, she taught me how to complement it with a balanced lifestyle, and she suggested that I try yoga and meditation. And Steve became my non-negotiable to myself. I hired him twice a week, and he came to my home, and he taught me yoga and meditation and just these strategies and brought me back to center when I was really in quite a dark place. And so that became, through there, just really learn how to manage my time and my mindset. And so I teach this is exactly. So sold that company, was always mentoring women in business, but became a certified life and career coach through my second company, womenonthefence.com. It was an online portal for people who were stuck. So it was always kind of coaching. And then as I was going on TV and doing more media, I wanted to really put that certification behind coaching. And so I teach this Thrive360, where we can function as 360-degree people and humans and men and women, where the first step is mindset, then body. We look at what chronic stress does to our body, and then time. How do we own our days and time management strategies, avoid procrastination, and then transformation. How do we make these, once we learn how to course correct our lives and derail burnout, how do we make these good habits stick? So I teach that on a stage, on my podcast, when I'm speaking, in my coaching. Anywhere that I am, I'm redefining self-care beyond the superficial, beyond bubble baths.
How do you take those principles in Thrive360, try and say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, Thrive360.
And apply that to the next generation. You experienced what you did at a younger age, and now you're coaching people. So how do they receive that information?
So it's such a great question. And I see a lot of people in the younger generation where somehow, I don't know if it's their parents, someone is teaching them to be more assertive. We see it. The girls are assertive today. We're teaching our kids to speak up for what they want, tune in. I've raised my boys this way. They're really in tune. They know, we sleep when we're tired. We eat when we're hungry. I don't care what society tells us, 3 meals a day, whatever. I've taught them to listen and tune in and honor their boundaries. So much of burnout is we are so disconnected from ourselves and we don't tune in. So someone is teaching these kids, they are more connected to themselves. They're more assertive. They ask for what they want. They didn't, we'll say schwer arbiters, right? My grandfather, and I come from that mindset. My grandfather said, no one drown in their own sweat. Our generation and my parents' generation, no one honored any boundaries. They just worked like dogs. But the younger generation today is no, that's not my pay grade. I'm leaving, So they are more, so I think they are better at burnout prevention than our generation. And I would love to see, I've written a whole post about, I'd love to see self-care taught as a curriculum in schools for kids, because it is everything. It is financial success. If we are disconnected, if we won't be creative, we can't produce. If we're burnt out, we can't do anything. And so this is not, woo-woo, hokey-pokey stuff. And I'm glad, because things like breath work and meditation and yoga that I teach, that I'm certified to do, are finally recognized as scientific out of Harvard and the Mayo Clinic, which makes me happy because it works and it's true and it's real.
Yeah.
So I think the younger generation are getting it better, which I'm happy to see.
And so not only did you make it a part of your life, but it was so important in kind of reshaping who you would become that you want to pass this on to others.
Absolutely.
Is that where Thrive360 comes in?
That's what it is. Like I said, that's my business model. Is number one is speaking. I'm a keynote speaker, conference speaker, and next is coaching. So if I'm not teaching it on a stage, I'm teaching it to the women in my coaching practice. I'm planning my first retreat this fall with Canyon Ranch, October 15th to 18th, just for women. It's called the Reset and Thrive Retreat. It's for any woman, high-functioning, high-performing, or other, who wants a break from their lives to regroup. We're going to do food, energy, mindset. There's stuff for menopause. There's food. There's really everything for women. And so it'll be taught there. I'm going to be doing a yoga and journaling session with the women there, morning hikes. It's going to be incredible. And then the last way I teach it, of course, is my podcast, media. I have a show currently streaming on Air Canada on the planes, as well as Amazon Prime, which is called Zen Life, and that is also yoga and meditation. So I eat, sleep, breathe, and live this.
Well,
so it's great.
I did yoga many years ago, and even more recently, in meditation. I don't know, I'm not going to say it changed my life, but it absolutely had a profound effect on the way I lived my life.
It really does. And if you start it, and like as in anything in life, we start small, right? We're not going to go from like being so disconnected from ourselves to meditating for 45 minutes and being like, I'm so zen, I'm so chill, right? So the whole point of this is we start very small, 2 minutes. And then if you're listening and you decide like, hey, I think I'm going to meditate, when do you start feeling the benefits? Well, the research says it takes about 21 days to start forming a new habit, but 66 days up to 6 months for it to start to become more automatic. So I would say don't give up on any of these things, any of these strategies. Stick with them, because they rewire your brain for calm over time. They're life-changing. And I don't want to get into this, but like I know I had a brain scan because I have a genetic disorder in my family, and I recently had to have a whole body scan. And so when they scanned my brain to see if I have this hereditary disorder, which I don't, but I asked them, thankfully, and so I said to them, I said, can you just tell me, I've been meditating and I heard that there's a meditating brain. And they said, Erica, you do. They said, we don't see the fissures, we don't see the cracks in your brain. So that's why I want to tell you, I know for real that it works.
Absolutely.
My brain scan told me.
I'm very curious when you talk about this retreat that you have coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it probably hits the nail on the head. Do you have anybody who comes to you and says, you know what, I want to come and do this. It sounds like it would be great and very helpful, but I just don't have the time. I'm too busy.
Yeah, of course. So I say if you don't make the time, it's going to find you at a time that's not going to be so very convenient for you. Yeah. And so it's a 3-night, 4-day retreat. It's Thursday, and we all have 3 days to learn how to change our lives, to come back with new strategies for eating, moving, stress management, boundaries, habits. I mean, it's going to be incredible. And it's my 20 years work poured into one weekend, and it's going to be epic. So.
What does the current Erica have to say to the old Erica from back then in terms of coaching advice? Yeah. What are the key principles that you would have told yourself back then that you should adhere to?
I would tell my younger self just to be more of who she is. I think we really we put these expectations on ourselves of what we should be, what we should look like, how we should present. Like for me, the example is I do so much work in corporate that I should be a certain way, but I'm silly and I'm goofy and authentic, and I show up online and I share music and random stuff and silly, funny, and appropriate things. And I think when you are finally who you are, that's when your life really enhances. That's when things open up for you. So that's maybe not related to burnout prevention, but just I would tell my younger self to really tap into who you are.
When you're a young entrepreneur and you're very singularly focused, as you described yourself earlier, what's your advice now in terms of taking time off, taking time for oneself? Because often that's a feeling of guilt. I can't let my guard down. I need to be going, go, go, go. But I think you have something very different to say about that.
Absolutely. So as I said, if we don't make the time, it'll find a time for us not so convenient. But I would say to the person who is really not doing anything as far as self-care, I always suggest 3 things. If someone's like, Erica, I feel like crap right now, what are some simple ways to move the needle? Number one is sleep. So I would program yourself, until a pattern develops, 15 minutes to go to bed earlier, 15 minutes at night, and then set your alarm for 15 minutes earlier in the morning for a gentle stretch or a yoga or a meditation or reading a book or something. So just to start slowly programming that 15 minutes earlier at night and then building that morning routine. Why? Because a crappy morning creates a crappy day, but our good morning, grounded with intention, sets the tone for a great day. That's number one. Number two is breathing. 2 breathing sequences we can all do, life-changing. A simple 4-7-8, simple box breath. Inhale to 4, hold to 4, exhale through your mouth to 4, and then hold at the bottom to 4. Do that about 8 to 12 rounds in the morning. I have my clients set an alarm at 10:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the afternoon. So first is that sleep routine. Next is any kind of breathing break, a box breath or Dr. Andrew Weil 4-7-8 breath. Inhale through 4, hold to 7, exhale through pursed lips for 8, and then number 3 is walking. Set your running shoes at your desk. Walk to 10 to 15 minutes. That will move the stale energy in your body. So these things are small, actionable, and that's how it works. Like we know, so this is what we do. We give up on ourselves. Like, I want to go to the gym for an hour. I don't have time, so I'm just going to do nothing.
Yes, that's
But if
me.
you head to your basement gym or your bedroom and roll out your yoga mat, as I do in my bedroom, for 10 minutes, what you're doing is you're keeping the appointment with yourself. You're keeping that promise. You're keeping the momentum going. You're keeping the habit intact. So that's why we know. That's how habits are built. That's how a life is changed, by showing up for yourself no matter how small. And giving yourself grace when you don't. That's really important too. When you don't show up, grace and compassion, being as soft as you can with yourself.
It's a great advice that so often gets overlooked. It's
Yeah.
just so easy just to let it go or not form that habit.
And what you're talking about, people who listen to this podcast, and even people who have been on this podcast, they're young entrepreneurs starting up their first, maybe their second businesses. They're single-minded. I got to get this done, and they're hearing this, and exactly that. It makes all the sense in the world. So just to play devil's advocate, but Erica, I don't have time for this. I'm starting a business.
Yeah.
That I get up 15 minutes earlier in the morning, not to stretch. I got to make the calls. I got to do the spreadsheets.
Right. Well, 15 minutes. So I always say, if you don't do it, the consequences, of course, are stress and burnout. But it's important. It's a whole formula, and that's why it's like mindset. We all live. Are you living in a scarcity mindset? And I talk about limiting beliefs, how we all default. We have 6,000 to 7,000 thoughts a day. I mean, 80. Most of them are repeating, and most of them default to negative. So it starts with mindset. But my second pillar is everything. Why you said, and someone says they don't have time. I would invite you, if you're an entrepreneur, to tune into really the 5 pillars of self-care, which is what you're eating, so this is what I do. Picture your life as a pizza pie if you're an entrepreneur, okay? You don't have time, you don't want to put yourself on the agenda. Okay, you got a pizza pie, it has 5 slices. What you're eating, how you're sleeping, how you're moving your body, how you're managing stress, and how you're connecting socially. Give yourself a rating. How are you eating? Are you eating like crap? Maybe you're sleeping well, but you're eating. Maybe you're not moving your body. You haven't made time for. And then maybe you have no breath work, breathing, no stress management when you don't get the account, or so you don't blow up. And then the 5th one is social connection, which we know is really important, and isolation, and all the research on that. So wherever you're struggling the most, you're eating like crap, you're not sleeping, you're not moving your body, I can tell how well someone's operating in their day-to-day if they tell me how they're functioning in those 5 pillars. So if you're currently busy and not making time, those are the 5 most important things to make time for. Eating, sleeping, moving, managing stress, and connecting socially. Having some sort of girls' guide, guys' night, card night, disconnection from your phone. So wherever you're struggling the most, that's where you begin. So if you're eating like crap, make a plan. This Sunday, head to the Atwater Market, head to the Jean Talon Market this Sunday. Do some meal prep on Sunday. Cut up some vegetables, have some hummus. So instead of reaching for crap, you're eating well. Make a meat sauce, put it in the freezer, get your family involved. So wherever you're struggling the most, that's where you begin.
I'm planning my next day, and it looks so much better than the last day already. So this is great advice.
And this is kind of how I live my life now. But I am also one of those guys who are like, well, I'm not going to the gym today. But like you, it's a non-negotiable for me.
I got busy with work this morning before I came to this podcast. I said I wanted to work out. I didn't have time. I rolled out my yoga mat in my room. I did a 12-minute app on FitOn, which is free.
Yep.
Free app. No, it's not. I have other paid apps. It's a free app. It's fantastic. I put a 12 strength training app. I used 15-pound weights. I was sweating, hopped into the shower, came here, and I feel great. My body feels exercised even in that 12 minutes.
So I'll throw something different at you. Again, I'm going to focus on the younger entrepreneurs who, cup of black coffee for breakfast
Yeah.
on the go. That's not a problem for them. It's become a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
sleeping
hustle
well.
culture.
Well,
Yeah.
nobody sleeps well.
Yeah.
I gotta,
I'll sleep when
Yeah.
I'm dead. Team no sleep, hustle culture for
right
sure.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But times have changed as well. There must be a generational shift where things are more acceptable. It's more acceptable and normal to be in tune with your mind, your body, your soul, your food, your movement.
So this is what I say. We can do it when we're younger. I was disconnected from myself in my 20s when I had that. And then my body spoke to me. I was doing well with like no sleep. I was going. My company was growing. I was a Profit Hot 50 company, one of Canada's 50 emerging growth companies. I was the only female CEO on the list, top 30 under 30. I mean, I was doing it and not connected to myself.
Right.
And then my body put me in a near burnout. So when you're young, don't you remember? Remember we used to go downtown. I remember my part-time job was at Avenue Video. I used to open up the store on Saturdays. I stayed out till 4:35 in the morning, and I opened the store, and I was amazing. Tons of energy.
Yeah.
But as we get older, our body simply cannot sustain it. So we need the strategies. And you simply, I invite anyone who says they don't have time, take time, take a day off, walk away from it all. You come back so creative, so refreshed. My best business ideas, I gave birth to this Canyon Ranch, this retreat idea when I was off. When we stop, we become so incredible for our businesses.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And so, and it may not be, it could be with another person. It could be going with someone else you love. I always have my business buddies, and I have lunch today with someone else. And that's when creative ideas come. When you walk away from your phone and the noise and the emails and the dings, that's when our best selves, our most creative ideas come out. So take the time, take the break, but really we know the most important, we really have to move our bodies. Really, really important for stress, burnout prevention. We have to eat well, protein, vegetables, drink some water, these things. And if you're drinking no water, go on Amazon or wherever, go to the grocery store, get yourself a bottle and put it on your desk and fill it up. Instead of 2 liters or 3 liters, drink 2 glasses. Anything you do will help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we get on that good band. This way we get on the bandwagon, when we're not eating well, we're putting on weight and we're not moving. That's how we get on the good path as well. By moving small.
You talk about Canyon Ranch. It's for female entrepreneurs.
I'm sorry to the males. If you're female or you identify as female, come away with me October. We're half sold out. It's 3 nights, 4 days, and bring your mother, sister, bestie. Come alone. Most people are coming alone. I have a few best friends who are coming. They've gifted themselves for their birthdays, and it's going to be Canyon Ranch Lenox. In the Berkshires. We're going to have fall morning hikes. Oh, and the other amazing thing, which I love, of course, is every woman gets $200 a day in spa credit. So you can choose a facial, a massage, a body wrap, anything you want in the spa. Canyon Ranch is one of the best spas in North America. So $200 a day, so $600 over the 3 days. And oh my God, I can't wait.
And how can people find out more about that and about you?
Yeah, so they can visit ericadiamond.com. The retreat information is there. I'm on social media at Erica Diamond with a C. I answer all my texts. I do all my social media. So reach out, say hi, said you listened to this. The retreat is also there as well. My course is busytobliss.com. If you're looking for a quick 8-week burnout prevention course correction, there. I'm a full-time life coach. You can find me there. And then you can also hire me, of course, to come speak to your company for burnout prevention and workplace wellness, and everything's at ericadiamond.com.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, one of the things we do on this podcast is we get a minute of business wisdom from a PME mentor. You are a mentor to many. So what's one piece of business advice you feel young entrepreneurs need to hear?
I'm going to say what I always say, which is burnout is not a badge of honor and self-care isn't selfish. If you are growing a company, you must put yourself on the calendar. And why do you not feel worthy? Why does everyone else deserve time on your calendar but you? You're worthy. You're first. If you're first, your business will thrive. If you don't put yourself first, your business is not going to do well. Got to take care of yourself. It's not selfish. So it's my brand. That's what I would tell them. They got to take care of themselves.
It's a therapeutic episode.
Absolutely. No, it's just what we needed. Erica Diamond, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Every episode will bring you a bit of business wisdom from a PME mentor. This week, our mentor is Isaac Blackman, president of MJU Expo, the biggest Jewish business expo in North America, and it's coming up in April. Federation CJA and the PME Hub are proud sponsors of the expo. For more information, visit mjuexpo.com. Isaac?
Guys, Mentor Minute. First of all, shout out to Matthew Cutler, best friend. He calls me up right now. He says, Isaac, you got to give me a Mentor Minute. I'm like, it's Purim. And I'm drinking. He says, it's perfect time. Here is the 60-second mentor minute. Number one, you got to be in it to win it. If you get a lead, pounce on it. Call them right away. Don't wait for the last minute. Don't push it off tomorrow. You got to be in it to win it. And if you snooze, you lose. That's the saying, snooze, you lose. Make sure, don't push anything off. If you're in it to win it and you don't snooze to lose, you're going to make sure you're going to succeed in life. And next, last but not least, service is key. Someone calls you up, no matter what business you're in, give them the attention. Take the 5 seconds, talk to them one-on-one. Hear them out, hear what their needs are, and then offer them your service based on what their needs are. You're guaranteed to close. If you treat them like a mensch, you'll be treated like a mensch, and you'll have a great relationship. You do a lot of business together. L'chaim, don't forget, in it to win it, snooze or lose, and service is key. Here's your mentor minute, l'chaim.
If you feel you have a startup idea and you have what it takes to bring it to life, but you need some support from PME's wisdom and coaching, just Google Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs.
And that's our time for today, Dan. For more information on PME or any other Federation CJA program, follow us on social at promontrealentrepreneurs.org or federationcja.org. And be sure to tune in and subscribe to the Federation CJA 360 podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Got to get the plug in.
There you go.
Minding Your Business is a production of Federation CJA. Executive producers are Glenn J. Nashin, that's you, and Catherine Korakakis. Technical production by Daniel Moskovich. The Minding Your Business podcast. Subscribe, download, listen, and share wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Dan Laxer.
And I'm Glenn J. Nashin.
Minding Your Business. Pro Montreal Entrepreneurs. Bringing ideas to life.